He uses his Keyblade to resurrect Rin, but before he could make Rin fully conscious, he was shot in the now we need to know. Shot in the head by his ex-girlfriend with a crossbow. Oh my god. Welcome back to OtakuDaiKun. Dai here. Today we're going to be doing something really fun. I saw a video of Markiplier's that was called Making Stories with an AI Generator or something like that, and he's using a piece of software called InferKit to make some pretty funny results, and I figured this would actually be a brilliant opportunity to do fanfiction. For a channel like this, what better to use than Fate Grand Order fanfictions, or Stay Night or Type Moon in general. Not only did I write some of these prompts myself, but I asked you guys on Twitter and Discord to submit your own. So let's take a look and see what happens. So here's one that I wrote. Artoria and Mordred step into the castle dungeon. Suddenly, Artoria shuts and locks the cell door behind them, before beginning to disrobe. "Father, what are you doing?" Mordred asks. In response, Artoria declares, "Behold this body of mine. If you want to be king, I need you to become acquainted with every inch." Blushing, Mordred steps forward, loosening her tunic. "Yes, father." The two embrace, separated from the rest of Camelot by a few iron bars. From the stairs, Arthur is heard muttering, "Bastard!" Mordred smiles, unsure if his father is speaking to him or Artoria. Okay, this is already wrong. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. However, let's keep going. He turns back, struggling to raise Artoria's dress over her shoulders. Artoria stands at the top of the stairs, his hand raised to block Mordred from seeing Artoria's naked breasts. Artoria looks up at Arthur and smiles. "Go on, show him." Arthur turns back to Mordred and begins kissing Artoria's neck. Mordred pushes Artoria back onto the bed and begins to shake off his tunic and trousers. "Father!" Mordred shouts. "Father, stop! Please don't!" Oh shit. Artoria's skin turns red and she shuts her eyes. "Mordred, stop it." They're both telling each other to stop. Mordred stands up and rips off his tunic and trousers. "Father," he whispers as he removes the robe from his shoulders. Artoria sees his naked, hardened for the first time, his Excalibur for the first time. He moves his hand toward her, and she shuts her eyes and sits back on the bed. Mordred's junk breaks through his underwear. Artoria looks down, barely resisting the urge to look. That's not what I expected. I like how, suddenly Arthur is shown here, as well as Artoria. I don't know. Is Arthur just showing up to the party? Hey! The two embrace, separated from the rest of Camelot by a few iron bars. Artoria lets out a passionate cry and grasps her father's torso. "Please, father, I need you to step into my embrace so I can feel your desire." What? "It would be wise to kneel before me and proclaim your love," Artoria tells Mordred, her tongue winding her lips. "No," Mordred responds, then kisses her forehead. "We will make this a pleasant interchange. If I kneel, it will mean we are on equal ground, and you will have to open your mouth and let me kiss you." She frowns and taps the side of Mordred's cheek with her knuckles. "Please, my darling, we do not have time for this." Mordred smirks. "This is just a request. How about if I do this to you? Even if you do not wish to be king, we walk out of this prison." Artoria tosses her head and laughs. "You're a devious little boy. You'll never be king." Mordred narrows his eyes. "I will be king." "Yes, but I will decide which king." "Huh?" Artoria reaches behind her neck and unfastens her chain. She removes the heavy jewelry. "You will not be wearing..." I'm kind of curious to see where this goes. "You will not be wearing that when we are crowned." She and Mordred clasp their arms together. Together they stand, embracing and kissing, their bodies pressed together. "I love you, my father," Artoria tells her father. "You're everything a father should be." They're really confused, aren't they? Mordred kisses her neck, then moves his lips over her jawline, down her neck to her breasts. At the feel of her erect... wow. Mordred kisses his way back up to her lips, licking them and grasping her waist. Artoria's body stiffens in response. "No," she cries. "Please, father, leave me alone." I can't tell if they know what they want or not. Mordred's lips kiss her lips again. Would you rather be in your castle gazing into my own eyes instead of staring off into your father's eyes? It's the same thing! No, Artoria cries out. We're supposed to be trying to kill my sister. Really? I guess, maybe. Bad Morgan. Is it not for her and her lover that I want to give up my life? Mordred laughs loudly. I do not need to kill anyone. I can simply reach into your life, touch you, and take everything you ever cared about. That's all I want. You love your sister so much that you wish to die, and I want to be her lover. I will be her lover. I will be her king. I am the king of the world, and she will be my queen. Mordred's words sound so innocent. She knows she is right. But she does love her sister. A tear falls down Artoria's cheek. Mordred doesn't have a sister. Okay, I think that's enough of that one. It's absolutely crazy. I've got one here from Simon Says. Emiya then went into an 80-page long flashback, while Rin and Saber just sat there perplexed. So then we see the aftermath of what happened last time. Rin is on the hospital bed, looking like a beaten character in a certain David Lynch movie with an IV. While being patched up, she hears Emiya's voice for the first time. After a few seconds, she responds, "Eya?" And when Emiya walks into the room, he seems to understand what she meant because he says, "I see you're still wearing your Jizo," prayer beads, in a very unsurprised tone. After returning to reality, Emiya confesses that he always wanted to be with Rin again, not knowing she was really a girl. Whoa. Realizing this, Emiya started to get sick and unable to talk at all, and was sent to the infirmary. The doctor, however, actually was able to determine that Emiya was in fact a fourth-class servant by the equipment he was able to give Emiya, as well as the fact that Emiya was in fact the younger of the two girls. We got Emiya gender bent all of a sudden. He uses his Keyblade to resurrect Rin, but before he could make Rin fully conscious, he was shot in the now we need to know. Shot in the head by his ex-girlfriend with a crossbow. Oh my god. At that moment, Emiya woke up, apparently not hurt, to find himself in a different scene. A girl who had taken the form of a robot, saying she was trying to assassinate the President of the United States with a grenade. Emiya commented that this was not Rin's doing, and went in to save her. The robot's bullet actually killed her, after she had gotten into a physical struggle with Emiya. After rescuing her, Emiya is sent back to the infirmary, where he found to have an IV inserted into his arm. You know what? He got shot in the head, though. Back in the real world, Emiya is now able to talk again. Oh, this was a fake world? And Rin is much better health, healing her arms and legs. Good, I guess? Emiya then tells Rin that her name is Saber. Really? Making her the first one in the class to have a gender-neutral name. I love this little saga. The two get along surprisingly well, and Emiya's Keyblade powers now belong to Saber, whose only other female counterpart is Nanoha. Like lyrical Nanoha? God, that's funny. Rin then asks Saber why she looks like a girl, to which Saber replies that But Rin is Saber, you just said so. Oh my god, this is good. To which Saber replies that she is a woman, and that she is also part female, which would make sense, and that she is really Emiya's sister. Oh my god, incest! Emiya tells her that he didn't realize she was a girl until she started moving, because he thought he was dead. What? This gave Emiya the idea to find someone to have sex with. Though he gets nervous when Rin says she's a virgin. Despite this, he still wants to go with her, as he finds this whole situation interesting. Rin replies that she is too, and that this time they would both be having sex. Emiya and Rin meet a bit later on at the police station, and Emiya finally tells her that he is a human. What was he before? Rin asks him if he's a woman, and Emiya laughs and says no, despite them saying he was earlier. This is funnier than I expected. From D-Tract, I'm not sure how to say that. After a long day of school, Rin does a good thigh workout. After class, Rin gets picked on by a ninja. He threatens Rin's sister's soul with the power of being reborn as an infant and crushes his skull to death with an infernally heavy ninja star. He then checks up on Rin. Rin fights some ninjas who run away when they see him and tries to get home, but he's lost in an alley. It's so dark that when he stands on a moving trash can, he can't see his feet, and the trash can keeps moving. Oh dear. Even though Rin doesn't really get a vacation because he has to help serve at school instead of having some time to himself, he decides to have a little fun anyway. Wow. Sucky McDucky gives us, people die if they are killed. The best way to avoid dying is to avoid being killed. Killing is bad. Killing people and killing things is very bad. You are the worst person in the world. Yes, I know. It's like you're the one person who doesn't understand how humans behave. Humans get very angry. It's like you're never happy, that's all. You're a horrible human being. You're trying to be nice to me by being cold to me. Why don't you use some kindness? Do you know why? Because you're trying to be nice to me, and you don't have any kindness in you. You're like the worst person in the world. You are such a horrible person. You don't even care that you're trying to be nice. Why do you have to go and do that? You don't even understand. Everyone needs kindness. Everyone needs compassion. Everyone needs kindness. You don't care about others. You only care about yourself. And I hate you because you hate me. You are the worst. Okay. That's weird. But it's kind of what I expected. People die if they are killed. They do not die if they are discouraged. The truth of the matter is that no one gets their heads ripped off because someone has not been encouraged to kill. Someone who's not encouraged to kill will not do so. Why would anyone be encouraged to do anything? If you haven't got someone who will do anything for you, you will die. Why is your reason to kill someone not a reason to be encouraged to go into business? What is your business if you do not have someone to support it? No human can be encouraged to die. People do not die when they are discouraged. People die when they are killed. They are killed whether they get their heads ripped off or not. Every time a person is killed, people get discouraged because the person who was killed is someone that they cared about. It's the same when people get killed. If someone is killed, no one will ever get discouraged from doing business. What? People will get discouraged, but they will never die. If people are killed, people will get, okay, enough brain breaking for now. Life as a mage can be stressful. After giving up his daughter Sakura to the Mato family, Tokiomi Tosaka relaxes with a trip to the bathroom. He relieves himself on his porcelain throne, which apparently I can't spell right, only to be struck by karmic justice. All of the toilet paper is gone! How will he wipe his ass? That should be funny. A while later, he checks his daughter's closet for her undies, but can't find them, so he has to bring her to the changing room. Once inside, he slips on the toilet paper and turns around to bend over. Without warning, she sprays her dad with toilet water. When he complains about the mishap, she covers her mouth with her hands and points to her naked butt. It's all pretty funny, until Tokiomi yells at her for embarrassing her in front of everyone. She responds by throwing a pair of her underwear at him, and it takes him a moment to realize she is actually trying to kill him. Life is now going to be a whole lot easier for Tokiomi. The Mato family was planning to move out and try to make a living elsewhere, but Tokiomi will not let them. Not to say that the demon in him couldn't adopt to a new environment and thrive. It's a nice thought. And then all of a sudden we're down to the XX files. Scarecrow, what? When Shiro returns, he finds Tokiomi still sitting in his place. It seems that no one else knows that he's lost all his toilet paper, leaving Tokiomi to suffer the horror of remaining unable to cover his ass. Shiro is caught off guard and makes a hasty retreat. Okay. That one trap has a different prompt for us. Taiga comes over to steal Shiro's food. Shiro is too busy fantasizing about swords to even notice. He has to fight Taiga over this food. This time for real. This time he feels the impact of every blow. He watches in horror as Taiga gets up from the ground and gives him one final shove. Taiga is lifted up in the air by an invisible force and crashes to the floor. Taiga dies. Shiro is devastated and can't stop crying. He wants to kill himself. He cries himself to sleep. The sun starts to rise and it's cold, but he can't sleep. He feels restless. Even though he fell asleep, he can't believe Taiga died. He started to think about Taiga, and tears came to his eyes. He feels weak and tired. He goes to his closet and tries to sleep in the closet. He doesn't want to forget about Taiga. It's cold, but he decides to wake up. He can't believe it's cold out here. I get it. He feels bad. Saber, who is in charge of watching over her master, sneaks into the hospital. She learns that her person isn't Shiro, but a shapeshifter. She has to wait outside so that the whole hospital doesn't know she's there. Despite the mess, Shiro and his friends, even the wolf, manage to celebrate the new year. The live-action parody cast is all very different from the anime. I bet. One of the weirdest things about the live-action series is that it doesn't have the main characters or even many minor characters from the anime. For example, Taiga doesn't even appear in the live-action series. Instead, the live-action cast only has Shiro and Rin. They don't even get to fight, which seems weird considering how badass Shiro is. 1403, Shiro's feeling good and decided to take a little nap. Of course, Tifa's around this time and sneaks into the room, followed by Momo, and is about to grab the food out of Shiro's hand when he wakes up. Shiro is pissed, in the middle of a heated argument over whether or not dragons are cute. Dragons can be cute. Oh my god. Matt McAfee? As Sakura closed the shed door, Shiro began focusing to repair the toaster. The feeling of cold metal tempered his rising feelings. He used to take cold showers, but the water bill told him to seek an alternative. This started when Sakura began coming to his house, though he would never tell her. It felt wrong to let a girl watch while he showered, and even after she finally stopped, he kept it up because it felt so good to wash his back without worrying about mess. When his back was sore, he remembered how cold it was to be a child. He'd have the most wonderful sleep when Sakura would slip in beside him, leaning against him to her chin. When she kissed him, he loved how she kept the kisses brief and less enthusiastic. She was great for making out, but never one too far. The guilt would always come after her, post-nut, and it made him pull away. And no, he wouldn't share a deep, soulful, intimate kiss with anyone else. Nor could he want to. It took him a few years, but he learned to appreciate her tenderness. This one is from Albo. Shiro and Archer were playing a fighting game. Shiro was salty while Archer was smug. Suddenly, Saber kicked the door open, saying, "Every time. Who else was going to bring you lunch today, What? What are you doing here?" asked Shiro. "Well, you really were looking bored. It's boring here, plus the company is giving me so much money. Why shouldn't I spend it?" said Saber as she bounced happily. Shiro scowled. "I am not a pet." "Oh, shut up," laughed Saber. "Look, it's not like you're not into money. You were all into my money before I was even born." Shiro punched her in the gut. "Archer," she cried, "don't do that." "Just teasing you. Come on, let's have lunch." "What the fuck?" "Lunch?" asked Shiro. "Lunch from whom?" Saber raised her eyebrows and picked something up from the bed. "This is because of your before-vacation expenses." She tossed something at Shiro. "It's for you on your birthday," she said. "It's something nice." "I don't believe you." She smiled. "Anyway, I came by to bring this to you." She put something on the table. "What is it?" asked Shiro. "Another glass." What the fuck? It's time to look at the prize. She had the towel wrapped around her hair. Shiro turned around and didn't notice who had walked in. Archer snuck behind him and jumped up, slapping Shiro's head and saying, "Congratulations, you're on the first star." Shiro had a fever, and Archer almost choked while laughing. Shiro looked at Archer and gave him a dirty look. Archer took the towel off his head and shoved it towards Shiro. "You're such a tease. I mean, seriously, how do you do it?" Shiro was stunned by Archer's brutal honesty, which made him furious. "You got sick because I told you to look after your sister, but you could have just left it if you didn't like the clothes or something. How dare you make me look after her? You have no right." Shiro fumed. Archer had been waiting for Shiro to get angry for him, but it was clear that he couldn't talk to him like this anymore. "Fine, I can take you down myself," Archer said sarcastically. "I think we'll probably have to fight against this guy if we're gonna take him out. You'll probably wait until the first star is taken." What is with this? With Archer's blatant betrayal. So he attacked Archer's face. Archer stopped and looked at Shiro's face. At Shiro's face. His visor was at full power, and he could barely see. "Ah, I didn't see that coming," Archer said sarcastically. He turned back and punched Shiro in the face, knocking him out. Shiro woke in the infirmary, with Archer looking at him. "He's awake," Archer said. Shiro angrily grabbed Archer's jaw. "How could you do that to me? Why didn't you just talk to me like an adult?" Shiro asked angrily. Archer laughed. "You're so crazy, you couldn't be scared of me, right?" Shiro grabbed Archer's wrist and hit his face twice. Archer tried to retaliate by punching Shiro in the face, but Shiro grabbed him and threw him away. Shiro stood up and punched Archer's head twice. They like to beat each other's heads, don't they? Archer's visor popped up and he backed away. Shiro punched Archer's face again 3 more times, and he was crying. "If you take another step, I'll have to take you out. If you don't take me down soon, I will." You're gonna take yourself down? Now from Gigglemesh, you've got this one that says, "I, Shiro Emiya, think to myself, I'm seriously fucked. That shit hits home the second I see Sakura, my baby mama, and one of the most powerful mages I've ever met, kick down my door to see her servant, Medusa, the rider-class servant of the 5th Holy Grail War, straddling me in reverse cowgirl. I'm stunned and can't move. What the fuck? This is gonna get really weird. It's guaranteed." I gasp out and she repeats, "What the fuck?" The whole scene just seems like a funny yet unfortunate dream. Medusa shows her ass to a giant teenage boy. Cool. Her mohawk is way better than mine. I'm suddenly buried in my own memories and see that my confrontation with Shiro Emiya, The trailer is edited together so well that I still feel like he's an adult, not a teenager, despite his appearance and my feelings towards him. I wonder how this happens, how somebody goes from being a child to an adult so quickly, in such a short span of time. But this transition works well and fits with how well he... Okay, we're getting off here. Now bow down to our new leader. I mutter softly as I sit up. What are you doing here? I have missed you, Sakura giggles lightly as she sits on my lap and kisses me softly. She smiles sweetly as she says, "You know you're my favorite servant, right?" I'm stunned and hurt and mad, all at the same time. My mind is as blank as I lay there and realize I actually know my own girlfriend and could do something about it. My anger comes out in a shout of rage. I stand up and smack her across the face with a loud, "Hell no!" She falls backwards with a scream and grabs her face. I put my hand on her forehead and point to her forehead. "What the hell, Sakura? Did you get slapped by that demon Claudia?" I snarled as I dropped my hand and walked back to my chair. Who the fuck is Claudia? What the fuck? She cries softly and crawls back to my lap. This is really kind of sad, isn't it? Medusa stands and says, "Okay, I'm done with the lesson. I'll leave you with some homework to study, and you'll have your initiation tomorrow." Ooh. A simple interaction, but instead I can't even move. A huge bulge has moved out of my crotch, rendering me useless for anything. Jesus Christ, you fucking tied me in knots, I say, shaking my head while grabbing my ass. "Yeah, you tied yourself in knots," Sakura says as she hits my back, causing me to wince. The tone of her voice makes me cringe and I hear her sniffle. "But you were the one who left. I was the one who felt the pain." Oh, I'm supposed to feel sorry for her? Good fucking luck with that, lady. Fuck. Shit. I left my baby and that bitch of a wife, Emiya. What? "Shiro, you don't mean to leave us?" This voice is coming from my kid sister, Kirino Emiya. Wow. Who walks into the room and stands next to me. "Did you see what that bitch of a servant did?" I ask, staring at the unconscious Medusa. Who's Ryder? Medusa has a rider, huh? This one's pretty good, let's see. "Whose rider is lying on top of me? Did you see how fucked up I was? Did you see what my mom and my wife felt?" I just wanted to hear you talk. The pain is worse than any headache I've ever felt. The skin around my crotch is sore and is still bleeding a bit. My stomach aches and I'm short of breath. My body isn't used to physical pain, and the sensation is freaking me out. I close my eyes and see the full moon shining in the sky. The wind moves around me and there are birds calling out to each other. Okay, what? "Mom, Dad, I'm so fucking hungry," I hear my older sister, Yosuke Emiya, say. How many older sisters do you have? Oh, God. This one is from Fate Connoisseur. The Holy Drip War is off to a powerful start as Romulus walks out clad in blue and gold armor. But then he's followed by the King of Kings, Ozymandias, strutting his stuff with Nitocris by his side. But wait. The King of Heroes, Gilgamesh, shows up casually in nothing but pants, a v-neck, and a fur jacket showing that gold doesn't equal drip. Gil thinks he's won, but then Karna descends from the sky, with the sun reflecting off his bits of golden armor at all the right angles, showing that a little gold is needed for a stunning effect, winning the Holy Drip War. Romulus and his disciples celebrate their victories over the holy godly Hungarians of Hungary and the holy drip people of Greece, only to be informed that the holy druids and the holy shakers are running wild in their holy land of Greece. The king of gods and gods only leads Romulus to his second vision when the city of Jerusalem appears on the horizon. But once the spies look up, they are all knocked out by the holy drip emanating from the holy sky. The battle turns out much more exciting than anyone could have predicted when the Holy Shakers pick up and throw holy scrolls all over the Holy Drip Church. Now the church is involved. The Holy Drip drips down all of the holy walls and stone columns, causing a bright light that causes the Holy Drip... Okay, so they don't understand what drip means in this context. "It's going to be hard for a man of a weak mind to be a king, Gilgamesh. Gal gum ka devao Karna, okay, lol. His hair was coal black and his color matched his bright hair. Gilgamesh, gal gum al kaldash. What the fuck? Gilgamesh left and Karna. That was beautiful. It was beautiful. What the fuck? Merlin is the dick wizard. His magic allows him to turn ordinary women into futanari. The reason he does this may just shock you. One of Merlin's reasons for turning women into futanari is so they will have a strong sexual appetite, allowing them to have a large sexual appetite while being the right height for a man. What? Another of Merlin's reasons is to create strong fetishes. The only problem is Merlin does not make good fetishes. Merlin is trying to get away from the sexual desires of people. Merlin is the chosen one, a total loser. He has a degree in English literature and literature of the other worlds. That isn't nearly good enough. Merlin has never been good with trusting others. Merlin hates having to deal with all his wounds. The pain of the cuts is unbearable. Okay, so it was pretty good, but let's see where this next paragraph goes. As Merlin lies in bed getting ready for sleep, he looks up at the clock and sees that it is almost midnight. Merlin then goes to the fridge and pulls out a bottle of vodka. Not only does he like seeing ladies, but apparently he's into one of some hardcore fetishes too. The story follows 3 Japanese college goers. Oh my god. Wow. There's nothing casual about futanari. This is why Futanari no Remi is called Love Hina. It's an homage to the popular manga series Love Hina by Ayano Matsubara. No, it's not. That's not who made... What? The story follows 18-year-old Haruko, the daughter of an artist who becomes obsessed with the beautiful art teacher Keiko as her obsession with futanari develops. Now we've got one from Isipal. This is the tale of Shiro Emiya, the king of Camelot, and his wife, not wife, Artoria Pendragon, queen of Camelot. Their daughter Mordred, who insists on being referred to as a son, just wants to be the best prince there is. Shiro Emiya was not born to the royal family. He was born to a prostitute and a dwarven pirate who grew up on the streets of London, hungry for adventure. Shiro goes in to save her, but is unable to do so. Artoria is killed instantly. Hey! And Shiro tries to save her, but he too falls from the dragon and dies. Falls from the dragon, huh? But the world that Mordred is thrown into is a horrible one, and not because it's constantly being terrorized by villains. No, Mordred, for the most part, is not told the story of his kingdom. The rumors that his father, King Arthur, was killed by Guinevere. His mother, Morgana, is now the ruler of Camelot, and acts like a spoiled brat, always pushing and undermining her husband's greatness. I kinda like how that started out. The whole Morgan becoming the queen thing really makes sense in the Lost Belt sense of it. Now we've got one from DSX 62415. Mordred, Fran, Astolfo, Bradamante, and Gareth make their way to Vegas in order to obtain funds to keep the lights on in Chaldea. While figuring out their options, Gareth unknowingly intercepts a suitcase full of money meant to go towards the organizers of yet another attempt to lay siege to Area 51. Now the 5 of them must evade a horde of angry internet stereotypes, while also making enough to do what they came here for in the first place. At Bradamante's behest, Mordred gets a tattoo so that Bradamante will never forget Mordred, as he's already begun to forget her. This makes Mordred's presence in their group a bit more bittersweet. Mordred, Astolfo, and Bradamante later meet with Bradamante's close friend, Astolfo's friend, and Bradamante's future lover, Fran. Wow, Fran will be their eyes and ears once the final assault begins. Mordred continues to flirt with Bradamante and Fran, while pretending that he only agrees with the attacks to keep Bradamante and Astolfo happy. The group's plan is to try and provoke a confrontation at the airport. After their flight, Mordred will pretend to strike Bradamante, while Bradamante and Bradamante's lover will end up killing each other. Mordred will then take Bradamante away from Fran and Astolfo. Mordred arrives in Vegas and meets with the other 3, arriving a couple of hours too late to observe Fran's execution. We got one that's from Simp for Kuhan. As Ritsuko was relaxing in the park, he suddenly heard some yelling, but it was far enough away that he didn't care. That is, until it got closer and closer and closer. Before he could react, a huge explosion happened next to him. He could see Lady Avalon running away like her life depended on it, from a very angry Arthur, whose Excalibur was shining a bright gold. The Chaldean master sighed and sipped his drink. "I'm too tired for this," he said while walking away, leaving Lady Avalon to her fate of complete destruction. "What? No, where am I going?" asked Ritsuko. "Go to hell, loser," shouted Arthur, who was already running toward the explosion. "Where is hell?" asked Ritsuko. "It is a place of eternal suffering for all humans, losers, and losers." "Let me guess, the devil himself?" asked Ritsuko. "Yes," said Arthur while running over to the city. "To hell?" "No, I mean to hell in the same way I mean, to hell, where is it?" asked Ritsuko. "Right next to heaven." "Did you know that hell was also a once beautiful place? Only rich people could come there and look down on everyone. If you were rich enough, you could go there. From N-Rock, we've got... Returning to her room after fulfilling her support duty, Gorgon can sense Ritsuka hiding to ambush her. Entering while pretending to not notice, she uses her hair to catch him as he tries to jump her from behind. Holding him up, she tells him that he is her prey, and prey can never hunt a predator, only to be caught off guard when he kisses her and gives her a cheeky smile. Hiding her embarrassment with fake anger, she tells him that she'll show him the immutability of their relationship. In response, he takes her in his arms and swings her around to face him, telling her that she is his prey now. The mysterious woman later accompanies Gorgon and Ritsuka back to their room to regroup. The mysterious woman? There's a new woman? Soon after leaving Gorgon, the three meet a woman named Iwashi, who claims to have been caught by Soga. Okay. Wait, what? How do you fucking say that? Obersturmbannführers? Obersturmbannführers? Army? What the hell? We've got one by Red Baku 404. Shuten Doji, one of the greatest Oni in history, had managed to finally receive Raiko's blessing and marry Kintoki, the only man she'd ever loved. Their wedding was more like the greatest drinking party ever. Everyone who came was required to drink from a sake fountain made by Shuten herself, and anyone who didn't drink was yeeted out by Ibuki Doji. Ritsuka and Mashu were the best man, woman, and the bridesmaid respectively, while Ibaraki Doji was the flower girl and ring bearer. Riku was the maid of honor, Hayami the maid of honor, and Sanshi Doji the master of honor. Yue Doji, Shuten Doji, Ibuki Doji, Nana Doji, Yu Doji, I Doji, Sho Doji, Kami Doji, Su Doji, Shimbaguri Doji, Taizo Doji, Ginji Doji, Suzu Doji, Koli Doji, Hiromi Doji, Shizuka Doji, Shen Doji, Yome Juji, Ai Doji, Angi Doji, Homi Doji, Kitane Doji, Noi Doji, no... I can't do it. Noriko Doji, Mi Doji, Kewa Doji, Yuno Doji, Sakura Doji, and Taiga Doji. Taiga Doji? Huh, what a place to end on. This one is going to break my brain because it already does. It feels like it was written by an AI beforehand, and I think Jesse here was intending for that. Shiro, Kiritsugu's adopted magic son, but is not really magic, attempts to rattle the saber at Hercules. Hercules hits Shiro because Shiro is found to be annoying. Shiro ends up in a hospital bed and dreams if Saber likewise likes his saber likewise likes his scabbard, which is stuck in his chest. But Saber finds him to be ridiculous and overzealously joins Caster, as she's on the newscast. This makes Shiro have anger, and he turns to the Chaldea security booth to get new friends. He then talks to Olga Animosphere, but she says she cannot help, and goes inside a star. She gives Shiro a girl with a shield named Mashu Kyrielite. Mashu is not Saber, and Shiro is sad. I don't blame you, buddy. I don't blame you. Mashu says she worries about her, and she leaves her behind to tell Caster that Mashu is an idiot. Shiro and Athena wander around and come across Athena's cryogenics lab, which is full of birds and has no door. Athena tells them to get inside, which they do. Athena orders some pigeons to fight her, and they do. Athena fights them, and as she fights the birds, Athena says she is happy as she beats the birds. Why? They have a fight, but Mashu falls down dead. Damn, bro. Shiro is sad and lifts Mashu's shield up for him. Mashu tells Shiro to carry on, as Mashu wanted him to become stronger and protect people with the sword. Shiro is happy, and Mashu shows him that his own doppelganger in the form of a coward called Hassani Asprimer? What? Mashu dies, again, and Shiro starts to panic. What the fuck? Wait, but Hercules comes in and tells Shiro that he is his real... friend. You are my real friend! Roar! By Kenzo Snipey. Counter Guardian Ilia. Prisma Ilia, Miyu, Chloe, and Sitonai have come together to complete a mission that needs to be carried out with the utmost discretion. Use a grail to replenish Chaldea's stock of Häagen-Dazs without anyone finding out. Their conversation is interrupted by Chloe, pointing out that it's missing a slice of chocolate cake. As the Prisma Ilia crew has a spotless record of delivering to perfect destinations, they need to get moving. They need to take their leave of the Counter Guardian Ilia, who decides to join them for dinner at the highly secret underground hospital where Chloe has grown close to the next generation Counter Guardian Prisma Ilia. What? We got one here from Zeno saying, as Ku geared up for the singularity in his native land of Ireland, he realized that the boss had buff removal on his noble phantasm. Ku then died horribly yet again. It was 4 months before Ku received his first damage when he lost his footing and went splat on his head on his next mulligan. What? As expected, he was back on the servers for a rematch. The boss was absent this time, so Ku set his sights on the newly buffed Ogre Magi that had recently come out in the Fireside Tavern's brawl. Ku decided to bring his mighty Arakune sword and boogie on down. It was his plan to make the boss hit himself with his axe every time Ku got a hit in. The boss went down, but Ku could lose it again soon after. This was a simple pattern. Ku had figured out that the boss was an initiator, and he took the bait every time. He lost his boogie, and Ku lost his sword. This one we've got from Ace Munagi. As Kiritsugu awoke in Chaldea, not as a servant, but as a master, he realized it was time to save the damn world. Because who better to prevent total human extinction and culling other timelines of civilizations doomed to dead ends than the pragmatic master of the trolley problem? When the imitator hijacked the Time Bureau's TARDIS, Kiritsugu stepped out of the hijacker and saved everyone from the savagery he had unleashed, and he immediately learned that the Time Bureau was one of many streams of realities spawned from the destruction of the Tower of Babel. As Kiritsugu traveled, the Time Bureau occasionally sent their agents to collect more information. But most agents, fearing their own deaths, stayed on the sidelines and never got involved. But it didn't help that Kiritsugu was truly terrifying in the eyes of anyone who crossed his path. He was powerful and decisive, intelligent and emotional, powerful and destructive. And he wasn't worried about sharing information with a group of people who were all dead. Because if they were dead, they were good. What? The human race needed a savior. Kiritsugu knew that. And that was good enough for him. Got one from My Raftalia. Moriarty makes a mock cocktail for Ritsuka and Mashu. A few minutes after going bottoms up, Ritsuka and Mashu get drunk. Turns out the mock cocktails had a tiny bit of alcohol in them. Now, drunk Mashu is roaring at everyone and refuses to stop and see what is going on in the garden. She had a horrible alcoholic flashback. She had attacked Moriarty with a knife and stabbed him to death. Frightened, Moriarty and Ritsuka have run outside while the drunker, crazier, and angrier Mashu is still mad and fighting for her own life. She struggles back inside. Apparently, she left her coat in the garden and comes inside to find it. But as soon as she gets inside, she stumbles all over the place and falls on the bed. There, she lays down and vomits out a lot of water. A few minutes later, drunk Mashu wakes up from the bed and gets out of it. Drunk Mashu gets sick all over the floor and mumbles incoherently for a while. I like how they killed Moriarty, and then Moriarty runs outside again. No sooner had drunk Mashu come back from the garden that she started to chant the same words over and over again. It was now 4:10 p.m. The chanting stopped and drunk Mashu fell asleep again. I want to know where this goes. After a couple hours later, drunk Mashu is already lying on the bed. She has still been. When she wakes up, drunk Mashu goes straight to the kitchen and starts mixing up her own concoction of drinks. She makes a strange concoction of lemon, vinegar, alcohol, milk, tomato juice, mushrooms, wine, and ice cream. A few minutes after drunk Mashu has mixed up her mixture, drunk Mashu vomits out almost all of it. She's now known as drunk Mashu. She suddenly feels cold. She wraps herself up in a blanket and falls asleep again. And here we have it, the end of the day. What will happen the next day? Short story summary. Mashu cries a lot. Oh, she can barely keep her mind on her feet. Oh, poor girl. She's like stuck in a perpetual loop of getting drunk again because there's nothing else the story knows to do with her. From Yamino Raiden, after sleeping in at Shiro Emiya's house for dinner, Taiga Fujimura returns home only to run into a chance meeting with the Dojima family. Although shocked to see Shiori, she refuses to break away from trying to resolve the matter with Kiri Emiya. Kiri Emiya? Yeah, it's pretty good. When the two return home, Taiga confides in Kiri about what had happened in the forest. Kiri tells her that his anger at Chachamaru has subsided and he would like to meet with her to apologize to her personally. Taiga agrees and invites Chachamaru to meet with them. Now we have one more prompt, and it's not something I wrote, but I figured I want to see what this thing will work with. We're gonna give it unlimited blade works. I am the bone of my sword. Steel is my body and fire's my blood. I have created over 1,000 blades, unknown to death nor known to life, have withstood pain to create many weapons. Yet, those hands will never hold anything. So, as I pray, Unlimited blade works! Leviathan, my wind, I am the voice of your shoulder, the beast that makes me powerful. My teeth are cold, and I am the glue of a tyrant. Cripple the mountains with my bolts, tear the seas with my arrows, strike the stars with my blow. Leviathans are one thing, the megalo mammals are another. Even if I cannot move my feet, I can move my arms. This has been awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It actually turned out way better than I thought it would be, just in terms of making me laugh. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you want to go ahead and try this stuff for yourself, you can use the software InforKit on app.inforkit.com. Now, you do have to pay to get used to some of the features, because the free version limits you to a certain number of characters. So I broke the bank a little bit for y'all, and I hope it was been worth it. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely give it a like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until next time, celebrate your fandom. Thanks for watching!
If you enjoy this channel, help us grow by liking, commenting, sharing the video, subscribing to OtakuDaiKun, and
most of all, smashing that notification bell so you don't miss out on all of our anime discussion, lore, or Let's Play content.
You can support us directly through Patreon, Subscribestar, or our YouTube membership, all of which come with benefits like exclusive vids and early access.
As always,
celebrate your fandom!
I want to give a special shout out to all my $10 and up supporters. Video Gamer 75, Stephen Elak, Samuel Gersten, Otaku Mom, Jens Bauman, Mystic Samurai 1983, Freebrick, Cosmonaut, RNGer Shuffles 1498, Alexis Yukio Gomez Yamato, Johnny Tsunami, Link Pendrago, Brandon Baker, Caitlin P, Vladimir Rovna, Succubus Sakura, Normace, Jonathan Padua, and SF Giants fan Mike. Thank you all so much.